can you hear the sound of the siren? Of maybe I think that's a fire engine, or maybe I think that buzzer or that sound of siren. I think is that of fire engine actually. So maybe I think it's going to pass away from this area. So which is I think that fire engine is going to pass away from here. So you may not be able to hear what I was speaking out in the time of that sound blaring into this episode. Anyway, so I took some time. I took some minutes, or so I took not some minutes. I took some seconds actually. But actually, so this time, so I'm going to talk about stuff about white supremacy. So so essentially there are two murder cases which took place in the United States of America. And so why I'm creating many episodes, or several episodes about white supremacy is the majority of my frequent listeners are American people. So which is why essentially I create some episodes, or two or more episodes of white supremacy, or some episodes related to white supremacy. Anyways, so I frequently digress in when I'm so I frequently digress when I'm recording episodes of podcasts. So each episode has many, or some digressions, or many digressions. So which is why, so I tell the listeners the title and the conclusion of each episode. So this time the title is "The American President Says No to White Supremacy, but South Korea and Japan are countries of white supremacy." And the conclusion is white people need to change the thoughts of colored people to eradicate white supremacy. Because some colored people, some colored say yes to white supremacy. So that is the reality. That is the reality of white supremacy. And so if you think about white supremacy, it's only white people who worship and who believe in white supremacy. And which is so so it can it appears to be true, or so it's difficult for me to explain things about white supremacy using English language. That is because as you can understand by listening to my pronunciation, I don't speak English natively. So which is why, so whether my proficiency is high enough or not is up to your decision, or up to your perspective. But actually, anyway, so thinking about how difficult for me to explain things about white supremacy using the English language, so it's true that one of the reasons why I find such explanation difficult is one of the causes that I find such explaining white supremacy in English language difficult is of course that is in English language. That is the fact that English language is a foreign language to me. Anyway, so maybe it's complicated. So English is a foreign language to me. I have studied some languages, some foreign languages. I have studied some foreign languages to me. So recently, I haven't spoken English language for 4 days. So which is why I'm not so good at speaking English. So anyway, I have studied English language as a foreign language which I think is the primary language or the first language among many foreign languages. And other languages are Chinese language, Korean language, and Russian language. And my mother tongue is Japanese language. Anyway, so, but actually, of course, as you think, I can fluently speak Japanese. I can fluently speak Japanese language. But actually, so thinking about that, most of you understand English language, not Japanese language. So I'd like to speak out English language for those who understand English at higher proficiencies. So anyway, I have fully digressed from the original track of this episode. So who believe in white supremacy, or who believe white supremacy. So of course, it's natural that white people believe in white supremacy, or white people find white supremacy really precious or really valuable. But actually, it's true, because white supremacy is a principle in favor of white people, and which is because the inward of white supremacy is like white people are on higher positions. White people are superior to the rest of the people, or the rest of the colored people. So which is why in the perspective of white people, white supremacy goes, or thinks about or stuff about white supremacy goes in favor of all the white people, all the white peoples. People has plural term, which is plural form, which is why maybe peoples can be a better explanation. So anyway, but actually so it's also it's also a problem of colored people. Of course, so white supremacy is a problem for colored people, because according to the theory, or according to the inward, was according to the content of white supremacy. Colored people are inferior to white peoples, or colored peoples are inferior to white peoples. So which is why white supremacy is one of the big problems to all the colored peoples. But actually, some colored people find white supremacy really precious or really valuable, and it is true that some Japanese people like white people, and it's like so it's like they want to, how should I say, they want to assimilate themselves to white people. I don't know whether assimilate is a good explanation, or good or suitable word for explaining the feelings of those not white people, but those Japanese people who really love white people. And there is some group of Japanese people and the South Korean people maybe who really like white people, or who really love white people, and such people are eager to become white people. And of course, not all the marriages between white people and such East Asian people involve such senses or such feelings of white supremacy held by or owned by some East Asian people. But actually, so what I want to tell you is that so some colored people worship white peoples, which I think is one of the problems for colored people. Or I think that problem is the one colored people should tackle, which is what I'd like you to know this time. So telling telling you the further explanations. So I'd like to hear anyway. So where is here? if where is here is your question. So in this part, I'd like to tell you another problem related to this kind of situation. So the situation is like, so gender equality. So I think gender equality has similar problem or similar situations or similar states. So it's like the problems of gender equality in which women accept the supremacy or superiority of men over women themselves. So which is so I wrote this comment. Not I wrote. So I'm going to write this comment. So I prepared this comment in my script. So I create some scripts for creating episodes of my podcast. So I wrote that comment on the script this time. So which is so and I'm going to write that comment. I'm thinking of writing that comment on the description column of this episode. So if you'd like to read the conclusion and the comment I have just said, so please access the description column of this episode so that you can read, not listen without listening to my podcast. And so my podcast and the episodes of my podcast have many digressions. So which is why if you'd like to know only the conclusion and the necessary information about it on each episode, please take a look at the description column of this episode so that you don't have to listen to other episodes of my podcast. The entire you don't have to listen to the entire content of each episode by taking a look at the description column of each episode. Anyway, so white supremacy is a problem even colored people have to tackle. So which I think is a better explanation. And it seems so if you're white people and if you're white people, you may think that it's white people who have to solve the problems of or about white supremacy. But actually, I think this is my perspective or this is my opinion that I think some colored people or most colored people are also responsible for the problems of white supremacy, because colored people admit the supremacy, or some colored people admit the supremacy or the superior positions of white people over the rest of the colored peoples. So which is why such an idea or such a thought is are problems even colored people have. So which is why I think it's possible to say that white supremacy is a kind of universal problems or universal problem. All the people have to tackle, or all the people have to do something to solve. So which is why so if you're a white person, or if you're white people and you find white supremacy a big deal or a big problem, what only white people have to solve. But actually, in such a case, or if you have such an idea, or if you have such ideas similar to the idea I have just told you, so I think colored people have already been involved, or I have come up with a better word. So embroiled. I think some colored people, or most colored people have already been embroiled or involved into the problem related to into the problems related to white supremacy. And because some colored people, or most colored people think like white people are superior to white people's be superior to the rest of the colored peoples. Such I think in such a case, right? In such a not in such a case, but actually in that way, white supremacy can be poisonous for all the peoples on the earth. So which is what I'd like you to know this time. So before actually ending this episode, I'm going to tell you the title and the conclusion of this episode. So the title is wait a moment please. Yeah. The American president says no to white supremacy, but South Korea and Japanese are countries of white supremacy. And the conclusion, in which is the title, and the conclusion is white people need to change the thoughts of colored people to eradicate white supremacy, because some colored say yes to white supremacy. And so not of course, and typical examples explaining what I have just told you. South Korean people and Japanese people, or I should say maybe some South Korean people or some Japanese people, there are of course, there are some South Korean people and some Japanese people who do not worship or who do not admit white supremacy, or who do not believe in white supremacy. But actually, it is true that some South Korean people and some Japanese people worship white people or believe in white supremacy. So which is why I used those two countries as examples of this episode. So the comment I introduced in this episode is, it is like the problems of gender equality, in which women accept the supremacy or superiority of men over women themselves. So I think this problem of white supremacy is similar to the problems of gender equality. So which is also what I'd like you to know this time. So that's it. Thank you very much for your listening. See you. So I made a mistake of pronunciation, and so I said assimilate, but actually that is a mistake. So the correct pronunciation of the word I wanted to speak out was assimilate, not assimilate, but assimilate. So what I was explaining that so those some East Asian people want to assimilate themselves to white people or Caucasian people, but actually when I was explaining that such kind of thing, so I spoke out assimilate, which is a mistake. Or I mistakenly spoke out assimilate, but the correct word is assimilate, which is what I wanted to use.